The cost to Swank Company of manufacturing 1,500 of its a particular part is $135,000, of which $60,000 is fixed and $75,000 is variable. The company can buy this part from an outside supplier for $6 per unit. Fixed costs will remain the same regardless of Swank's decision. Assume no alternative use for the facility. Should the company buy the part or should they continue to make the part? Okay, so let's put together a little comparison here of make versus buy. So the problem says that we have fixed cost of 60,000 and variable cost of 75,000 for a total of 135 if we make these products, these 15,000 units. If, on the other hand, we buy these, well, then our fixed cost stays the same. It doesn't change. Our variable cost, it goes away. But we then have to buy 15,000 times $6 a piece. Let's see, that's $90,000. We have to then buy the product. So if we add that up, I'm at $150,000. Well, given that buying them is going to drive up the total cost, it looks like making them is the better option. However, and I think that's the right answer for this problem. However, one thing to consider in this case, making is cheaper, and so it's kind of the more obvious choice. But if things were reversed, where buying was slightly cheaper, let's say it came in at 130, then the question becomes, is it worth saving $5,000 to lose control of the manufacturing process? And so that's another element to this that the pure make versus buy kind of dollars and cents analysis doesn't really take into account. And so, like I said, in this example, make is cheaper. And so not only do you get the cheaper product if you make it, but you also get the element of control. But that element of control is really another very critical aspect to this decision. Because if you lose control and the customer, I'm sorry, the vendor then is the one that controls whether or not you have access to this product, I mean, they then potentially can have massive influence over your production schedule and your ability to deliver to the customer. So that element of control is really critical. Obviously, if, buying the part is substantially cheaper, right? Like in this case, if making it was 135 and buying it was 35, like, okay, maybe I'm willing to give up that control for $100,000 worth of profit that would come back to the firm. But, if it's really close, right? If it's 135 versus 130, it's only a $5,000 difference, then it might not be worth it. It might be like, well, but things could get held up with customs, or there could be a storm that delays, the part coming from, a far distant country. There could be political unrest. There just could be an awful lot of things that could happen that could cause that part to not arrive. And then, where would we be? So, like I said, in this example, making seems to both be cheaper and the situation where we maintain control. And so it seems to be the clear winner.